Hello and welcome to Matt Literacy with me, Miss Matt Mullen. It's week... What week is it? It's week 14. So many weeks. It's week 14 and this week we are doing words from design and technology. Hello, and this week's words from design and technology are specification, innovation, and design. So let's just dive straight in. Specification is like a list or a detailed description of everything that a design requires. Okay, so essentially a specification, if you are about to start a project, perhaps a design for something, then you're going to need to do the specification. That specification is going to include all of the materials that you're going to use and why, all of the design factors that you're going to use, all of the goals that you want to have hit with the design that you're going to create. Now, you might come across a variety of different situations, different types of specification. So lots of specifications are in order to make sure that something is a safety standard. So if you go on to work in engineering or something, there will be an awful lot of specifications which are based around laws, around health and safety policy and things like that. So you will need to be using those specifications to make sure that your design is watertight and isn't going to cause anything that will hurt anybody. You will also, of course, be creating your own specification based on your research that you've done before you've started your design process. And finally, if you're doing something for a client or for work or something, you're going to have the specification that they want from you. So their list of things that they want. So that's lots of different areas of specification. Now let's have a little look at the Freya model for this week's work. So we've got our definition is a detailed description of the design and materials used to make something. We know that our characteristics are that it often refers to a set of documented requirements to be satisfied by a material, design, product or service. It's often a type of technical standard, so we've already talked about that. But another type of specification, which I've mentioned in the example, is that in class you will create your own specification a lot of the time, listing what you're going to do and why based on the research that you've done before creating your product. So this is something that you do before you do your design and certainly before you start designing something. You can see here that my non-example is spontaneously creating something with no plan, research, or design or anything. That would be the opposite of specification, because the specification is making sure that you are doing everything in the correct way that you should be doing it. So that is this week's word, specification. And my dual code for it is a little pen and paper, because it is that lovely detailed list that you do in advance of anything else. Now, our second word is innovation, and this is the noun version of the adjective innovative. And if something is innovative, it's new and exciting and wonderful. So innovation is the process of putting new things into action, changing the way something is done or creating a brand new way of doing things. Innovation is really important because we as humans, as society and everything are constantly trying to find better ways of doing things and new things to do. And part of any design is trying to be innovative and try and involve some innovation in there. This word's also really important if you go on to study business in GCSE or A-level, because obviously you want innovation if you are looking to start a business, because you want something that is new and exciting. So let's look at the Freya model for innovation. Now you can see here the definition, implementing a new idea. So implementing means putting it into place, getting it started. Implementing a new idea to change the way something is done or to create something new. The characteristics of innovation are that it should involve finding an improved way of doing something. So that could be that it's quicker, cheaper, more ecological. So maybe if it's better for the environment. Some examples of innovation, or one example, is the creation of electric cars. So that was innovation. But also it's the fact that companies keep trying to make electric cars that are affordable and that are actually really more environmentally friendly than the ones that exist now, because the process of making them can be quite bad for the environment, just as it is for other cars. So lots of companies are trying to improve that. Some non-examples for innovation would be just continuing to make petrol and diesel cars without trying to change anything about them. And our final word is design. Now, once you've had your specification for what it is, the product, the item, process, material, whatever it is that you are going to make, once you've had the specification and you've thought about it and you've thought about innovative new ways to make this thing, it's time for you to draw up your design. So this is when you are going to put down on paper or on the computer, maybe a CAD model or something, you are going to create a mock-up of what you're eventually going to make in real life. What I mean by that is, say, maybe making a drawing of it, which is really specific with the measurement and exactly what materials are going to be used and everything. Design is a really important part of the process, because if you get this wrong, then you can end up cutting things to the wrong size or ordering the wrong things. It's really, really important that you go through the design process. So let's look at our Freya model for design. And we've got our definition, which is to create a plan, either from new ideas or by presenting existing materials in a new way. So you can be innovative in either way there. Either can be innovation. It can be a brand new idea, or it can be a brand new way of looking at something or creating something. It's important to bear in mind, if it's not innovative, what you're doing, why are you doing it? It's probably already being done elsewhere in the same way. The characteristics of design are being creative, practical, not practication, that's not a thing. Being creative, being practical, and solution based, so you're looking for answers to some problems, and all of that helps a design to meet its specification. And examples would be a drawing of product packaging that you have been asked to create, matching the specification that you'd already made. And non-examples would be making something without designing it first. And that's all of this week's words. So now we are heading on to spelling. So first of all, could you spell specification for me? Could you spell innovation? And could you spell design? Fantastic. And take a look at those words. See if you've got them right. Look closely at specification. It's got a lot of letters. Look at how many N's you got in innovation. Did you get the G in design? And then if you cover up what you've written so far with the spellings, and then spell specification for me. And spelled innovation. And spell design. And take another look at the spellings before we have another go there. Again, specification, did you get everything right in there? Did you get that it was a C and not an S? Get the right amount of I's? Did you manage the right amount of N's in innovation this time? And did you get the G in design with no E on the end? And then we'll start again, specification. innovation, and design. And that brings us on to our dual coding and definitions. So if you could write out the correct spelling of the word, along with a definition for each word and a dual code, and I will leave you with that. It was lovely to imagine seeing you through this camera lens. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining us for another week on Macamo Literacy. If you enjoy starting with a word and then ending up in a rambling journey to who knows where, then I suggest that you hit like and subscribe. Also, if you just want to be a pal, like and subscribe. See you next week.